Okay, so we're going to jump into the forms now. First, I would advise starting with the 1094 form first, as some of that data does feed onto the 1095. In order to do that, you're just going to click on this little pencil next to the 1094, and it's going to open the form. You will notice that some of this data did fill in from us creating the company itself, but this is not auto-completed or checked for accuracy. You do want to make sure you are opening and completing the 1094 each year. One good example is this line 19 is not completed for you. So if it's no, this is mostly done. But if you check this box that it is an authoritative transmittal, there's a whole bunch of other information down here that's now required. So you want to make sure you're reading through this and filling that out completely yourself. Once you feel like you're done with this form, you're going to want to run your edit checks, which is found in the upper left-hand corner. Run edit checks. When you click on that, it's going to highlight anything on this screen that you have missed that is a required field. So this is asking me for a contact name for this company. So I'm going to go ahead and fill that out. When you fill it out, go ahead and rerun your edit checks because some things feed off of others. For example, if you run your edit checks and then you realize that you did miss this and we rerun, you're going to get errors down here that you didn't get before because this wasn't required without this checked. So just make sure that you're running your edit checks every time you make any updates to this form. Once we're passing, which is this little green circle with a check mark in it, which is what we're looking for, we're going to go ahead and hit return in the upper left-hand corner, which is going to take us back to the main ACA dashboard. There are two ways to add employees manually and via upload. So we're going to look at manual first. To manually add an employee, you just click on the Add Employee button here. We're going to go ahead and give that person a name. And their social, and hit Add. When you hit Add, it's going to create a 1095 record for this person and open up the form for you. You then would have the ability to kind of click through this and complete the rest of this information directly into the form. It does pull from the 1094, like the employer information for you, so you won't have to type that in every time, and then you do your codes and everything for that. While we're on here, I do want to point out, as you're filling this out, if you're unsure about what a field is asking for or what the proper values are to enter into a field, the best thing to do is to click on these little gray question marks that are sprinkled throughout this form, and that will jump you actually right to the section of the IRS instructions that you need to see. It doesn't make you, scroll through. It'll jump you right there. So this is one of the new fields for this year and one of the most common questions we've been getting. So if you're unsure about this age entry here, just click on the little question mark and it'll clarify who it is that you're trying to report this for. Another good example of that would be the offer of coverage code, because the codes add and change each year. So if you click there, it'll give you a list of all of the codes and what they all mean and how they're to be used. So this is definitely a good resource for you to refer to make sure you're doing the codes that apply to the information that you're filling out for the employee. And again, that's just by clicking on these little gray question marks here. As Janine mentioned, if you aren't finding clarification within the instructions, the best thing to do is to contact the ACA Helpline, and that number, that information is going to be in the chat feature of this webinar. and I can, you can Google it too. I just Googled ACA Helpline, and it came right up. So if you're not wanting to search through or you haven't made a note or something, that's a pretty easy thing to find. So, software questions come to us through your name and contact support, instructions through the little question marks, and then any further clarification on entries, go ahead and call that ACA hotline. Okay, so that's basically how to add a person manually. Again, we have the edit checks up here in the upper left-hand corner that you're going to want to run to make sure you're filling out all of the required data. And every time you add something, you're going to want to run them again and make sure that everything clears. We're not going to finish this person. I'm going to show you how to upload, and then we can see completed data that way. So I'm going to go ahead and hit return in the upper left-hand corner here, and we're going to look at uploading. So to start the process of uploading, the best thing to do is each year the upload spreadsheet changes slightly based on any changes that the IRS has made on the form itself. So to get the latest layout, the latest format for the upload file, you're going to click on Samples and Schemas right up here in the upper right-hand corner. What that's going to do is download a zip file with the items that you need. It is going to give you a sample file for 1094s if you choose to upload that data as opposed to typing into the form. It's going to give you a sample file for the 1095 upload. And again, this is all the same for B and C. It's different formats though, so make sure you're doing it in the proper series in the module. And then it's going to give you schemas, and these are really just a little extra information about the headers that you'll see on the sample templates. So it's a good reference to open if you have an extra question. Okay, we're going to go ahead and open up this 1095C sample template because that's what we're working towards here. Open this up. So it comes with all of these notes. These are things that you can read through, you can copy and paste to somewhere else for future reference, or you can leave them here. They are not going to cause any issues. I will mention as we're working through the upload how to adjust for leaving them versus how to adjust for removing them because they are taken into account when you do upload. Each of the fields down here, expand a little so we can read better. So this row is your header row. You want to be sure not to add, remove, or alter any of these headers or anything about the file because it is reading the headers. So if you adjust what the headers say or you add something to it, the file will not upload properly. You'll also notice that there is a note row above the header row. This is very helpful because it does actually tell you where it's mapping this data. So this is the city, it's going into box 4. This is the state, it's going into box 5. So when you are working in the system and you have a person, so if we hit this little pencil, sometimes I suggest you do actually add a test person so that you can see what the boxes are. You can see what 4 and 5 look like on the form while you're filling out the upload, and sometimes that does help make a little bit more sense. It does come with some sample people. So you'll note here, for example, we have an employee and that employee's dependent. And you'll note on here, the employee's social is duplicated here. So they list the employee social for both the employee and their dependent, and then the employee's social is in here for member social for the employee, and the dependent social is in here for member social for the dependent. So just as you're going through, kind of keep in mind that there are 2 social rows and they link. That's the purpose here, is this social being here links this person as a dependent to this employee. I'm going to go ahead and close this sample file and open the one that I've created. You will, obviously want to remove these people from your actual upload file before you upload it.